Welcome to the N1 Fitness Podcast. I'm your host as always, Marcus Sadu, and today we're answering the question of whether men and women need to eat different amounts of calories. So before we get into our topic today, if you're interested in one-on-one nutritional coaching or workout programming with me, you can head over to n1fitness.com/coaching. And if you're into daily fat loss tips and all that good stuff, feel free to follow me at N1 Fitness on Instagram and friend me up at Marcus Sadu on Facebook. All of those links are below in the show notes as well. Alrighty, let's get into today's topic. So do men and women need to eat different amounts of calories? There's no inherent difference in metabolism between men and women that dictates that women need to eat fewer calories than men or men need to eat more calories than women. However, in general, women are both smaller than men in total weight and also carry less muscle mass on average. And therefore, if we take the average man and the average woman with perfectly even activity levels, the average man is going to be eating more calories than the average woman, but only because of the difference in total weight and muscle mass. But that's like saying a big ass SUV uses more gas per mile than a smart car, and of course it does. A bigger car with a bigger engine uses more fuel over the same distance than a smaller one. So when we're talking in generalities or averages, we're not exactly comparing apples to apples. So like I've mentioned to you guys time and time again, you specifically are not an average. You're an individual. So just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're gonna need to eat less than every man out there. And just because you're a man doesn't mean you're going to need to eat more than every woman out there. So if we take a man and a woman who are the same height, have the same amount of muscle mass, the same relative body fat percentage, and the same metabolism on a genetic level, this is an impossible comparison, but bear with me for the sake of this thought experiment, they're going to burn the same amount of calories per day. So what this means is that it's not the fact that someone is a man or a woman, it's the other factors at play like total weight, muscle mass, etc. that lend to total calorie need. So what does differentiate people when it comes to variances in calorie intake? BMR, or basal metabolic rate, this is the amount of calories someone burns just existing, or essentially having a heartbeat. And some folks are just born with inherently faster or slower metabolisms, and then some folks fall somewhere in between. So for example, a woman that's smaller than a man and carries less muscle mass may actually need to eat more calories than a heavier, more muscled man if she has a very fast metabolism. Activity level is another factor. People that are more active need to eat more calories than folks who are sedentary. So if all things are equal, someone that's a lot more active versus someone that's a lot less active, the more active person is going to need to eat more calories than the inactive person. Makes sense, right? So to illustrate this point really simply, a 2019 Honda Civic is going to burn the same amount of fuel driving the same 10 miles that another 2019 Honda Civic is. But if one of those cars drives 20 miles, it's going to use more gas than the same car that only drives 10 miles. Muscle mass is another factor. So muscle mass is a very quote unquote expensive metabolic tissue, meaning muscle uses a lot of calories, more calories than fat does. So if we take a 150-pound female with 30% body fat and a 150-pound female with 20% body fat, with all things being equal otherwise, the woman with 20% body fat is going to burn more calories throughout the day because muscle uses more calories than fat does. And that person that is 150 pounds and 20% body fat has more muscle than the person at 150 pounds and 30% body fat. So having said all that, women do not have inherently slower metabolisms and men do not have inherently faster metabolisms. It's just that factors such as the genetic baseline metabolism someone is born with, total weight, activity levels, and muscle mass dictate how many calories that specific person needs to eat in order to gain, lose, or maintain their weight. So how can you enhance your metabolism? Number one is by increasing your muscle mass. So increasing your muscle mass will increase how many calories your body burns because we touched on how muscle is a very metabolically expensive tissue, more so than fat. Number 2, just moving more will increase how many calories you burn and therefore how many calories you can eat. And number 3, eating a more healthful diet is going to allow you to eat more total calories due to the thermic effect of food, which I explained in episode 56, titled, "Do You Have to Be in a Calorie Deficit to Lose Fat?" So you can check out that episode if you're interested in the thermic effect of food concept. But in short, we can eat more calories from healthful food than we can from processed foods because we burn more calories breaking down whole single ingredient foods than we do digesting processed foods, because processed foods are essentially pre-digested. Alrighty guys, I hope that cleared up the confusion around whether men and women need to eat different amounts of calories and what factors are at play and dictate how many calories someone needs to eat. Again, if you're interested in personalized one-on-one nutritional coaching or workout programming, you can check out the website at n1fitness.com/coaching, which is linked below, and book a consultation with me. You can also follow me on Instagram at n1fitness, and feel free to friend me up at Marcus Sadu on Facebook as well. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and I will catch you on the next episode. See ya!